I really feel as if most Pretendo YouTube channels have like gone into hiding with their tail in between their legs. Okay. I haven't seen anybody make any kind of crazy out there statement. Every time Arlo tries to come out and say, like, well, actually, I think Nintendo Switch 2 versions of games sets a bad precedent. Like, these guys instantly get wrecked. Like, nobody talks about them, nobody watches their content. Their takes don't enter the popular zeitgeist. No, for the vast majority of the population, most YouTubers are completely irrelevant and aren't really influencing anybody. Okay, like 10 years ago, everyone was screaming about how much they hated, like, I don't know, Tokyo Mirage Sessions or Star Fox Zero or what have you. Like, but these days, like, you don't really see the same kind of coordinated hate for like Nintendo related things. Like, it's just not something that happens in this day and age. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is a really good example of this, where the mainstream like surface level take is that the game is terrible and everyone hates it, but in the actual community, people who actually play the game, Scarlet and Violet is this extraordinarily well-received Pokemon game that's done extraordinarily well and is super popular. Like, I love Scarlet and Violet. So what we've kind of seen over the past couple of years is that we've seen a shift away from like Pretendo YouTube channels where you have these like ostensibly Nintendo channel coverers, channels that cover Nintendo content, talking about the company and talking about how they're failing, to moving to general YouTube content that talks about the company as a whole. And that has led to this culture where the people who are trying to concern control about Nintendo don't know the slightest thing about them. And it's become very, very apparent. Seeing people like talk about the Switch 2 in particular, that these people don't know anything about the industry, they don't know anything about the company, they don't know anything about like the market and how it reacts to things. Like, it was really interesting to me to see so many people like come out and try and declare like Dragon Drive a failure when I knew from the get-go that this was a budget title that that clearly had an audience, that was clearly well produced and interesting, and people enjoyed it, right? Like, Dragon Drive was a huge success in spite of the predictions from the community. Like, they don't understand the video game market. And that issue has become very prevalent when talking about the Switch 2. And it has become clear to me that the biggest, like, the worst person I have found in regards to like Nintendo coverage in 2025, the person that I'm having the most issue with, the person who's like blatantly making shit up, the person who regularly makes these insane hot takes about the company, Clownfish TV. And this may like confuse a lot of people because Clownfish TV is mostly known for like anti-woke coverage. It's the only thing they're known for, right? Like, oh, like Kevin Smith, oh, like, that's what most people who follow Clownfish TV follow them for. But if you're a Nintendo fan, if you've seen their content, you know the intense burning hatred that Kneon has for Nintendo, and just the insane hot takes he's had over the past couple of years, like particularly about Power World and things of that nature. Um, I think one of the reasons more people haven't noticed this really is that like he doesn't talk about Nintendo a lot because he's not a fan, he doesn't know anything about the company. Like, he just kind of sits there and tries to like make Nintendo out to be the most evil company ever. And that's been like the weird thing about this whole Switch 2 debacle, right? Like, Clownfish TV goes up there and he's like, "Oh man, Nintendo, they're raising game prices. They're raising hardware prices." no one's ever done this before. And then you go down to the comment section and you see a bunch of people agreeing with him. And then like I just go like Sony PlayStation 5 just raised the Sony just raised the price of the PlayStation 5 Pro. Game prices jumped up this generation. They're gonna jump up again next generation. Like the entire like narrative that Nintendo is like unreasonably pricing their hardware is just laughable. And the weird like fan fiction alternate reality that people have that like, well, it's only doing well in Japan is just a complete and total cope. Right now, like YouTubers like Clownfish TV want you to believe that the Switch 2 is failing, that Mario Kart World didn't do well, and that Nintendo is making bad business decision after bad business decision. And that is just very observably not true. And I think this is the perfect example of what I'm talking about. Like, Nintendo isn't giving developers Switch 2 developer, like, dev kits. Like, wow. So, like, the narrative is supposedly that Nintendo isn't giving away, like, Switch 2 dev kits to, like, smaller publishers. Like, because they're evil and because Nintendo doesn't want games on their platform to compete with their games. Like, never mind that there are plenty of third-party games on the platform already, but like, Nintendo is scared of third-party developers. Like there's all these like weird copes about this, but like the real truth, like the reality of the situation is that developers aren't being given Switch 2 dev kits because they don't really need them. Like the Switch 1 eShop is still up and running. It's still selling games. It's still getting new releases. And not every game is going, especially like smaller indie devs, needs to be like a Switch 2 port or an upgrade. So it doesn't make sense to give developers Switch 2 dev kits when they can just release the game on Switch 1 and have it available on Switch 2 anyway. Right. So this is like a perfect example of what I'm talking about, of how Kneon like copes and seethes and tries desperately to act as if Nintendo is doing something malicious or evil based on like a rumor. And like something that probably doesn't have any basis in reality anyway. Because like all like the rumor said was that like, Nintendo isn't giving out Switch 2 dev kits. And that could mean anything. That could mean anything, really. It's like it could not even there's a very real possibility it's not even really true. Like just look at the sheer amount of Nintendo Switch 2 games on the eShop already. So like with that being said, like Clownfish TV is a joke, okay? Like that's why they call themselves Clownfish TV, is because like, they're clowns, okay? They're trying to make you laugh with how terrible their takes are. It's not working. It's not funny. Like it's like that scene in the cartoons where like someone just takes the cane and like pulls them off the stage. Like I that's me doing this to them today. Okay, like that's me like calling these guys out today, and it's getting really tiresome. Like seeing people like this, and oh yeah, I saw Guru Larry in the comment section, who tried a similar thing a decade ago with like his four time Shigeru Miyamoto was an asshole video, which where he pretended that like Miyamoto disrespected like Rockstar Games or something. Like I remember him like trying to defend Argonaut of all people. Like oh yeah, like Nintendo Rareware should never have worked with Nintendo. Like never be a British developer working with Nintendo. It's like what is he talking about? Like what an out of touch like insane retard. Like and I do think this is like the long and short of it. Like and I've said this numerous times. Like the people doing this like they aren't doing it because they have this like they genuinely have like some issue with what Nintendo is doing and genuinely look and like have like misgivings about it. Like they're doing it because hating Nintendo has been a cultural norm since like honestly the beginning. Like people always love to say that like Nintendo used to be good and then fell off, but like back in the 80s or whatever, people just saw it as kids toys or whatever, and then like it became more popular and people tried like saying PlayStation was better. Like PlayStation's for adults, man. Like again, this is just the same kind of like bizarre Nintendo hate we've always seen. And people like this who are older, who have been like absorbed in this culture the entire time, like they really think Nintendo is like one of the most evil companies in the industry. Like, and like they don't really have any reason to think that. Like they don't have any real examples. Like every time they talk about this kind of thing, it's always like defending something like Power World, which is pure plagiarism, or like just reporting on like some rumor that's probably not even true anyway. It does need to be called out more often. I am very sick and tired of hearing about this. Clownfish TV need to go fuck themselves. I mean, I'm sure the wife is getting dick from some other dude, but like they need to stop, okay? They are embarrassing themselves.